This is the VAR Room on Westman Studios. Today we'll review the UEFA Champions League Semifinals first league games. I am Kabna Santamafo. I have Sefas and Kwesi Nabila to do this with me. What's up, guys?
Charlie, cool.
And Charlie, Mayday.
Mayday, sir. One say boys, the workers day, and one my holiday. Yeah, but here the holiday no day.
Charlie,
holiday no day. Westman Studios every day be
but,
work day.
but how you see the first league games?
Charlie, it was thoroughly entertaining, both games. It's exactly what we were looking out for. The Arsenal game, many expected Arsenal to win. It didn't go well. Barca game, absolute thriller. Let's see how the second legs goes.
Nabila. You see our semi-finals. We were expecting top class games, and Charlie, it was pretty good tactical games. I mean, if you're a student of the game, these were games that you always want to watch and then learn anything or two from the game. So it was very good games. Yeah.
So let's go straight into action. Arsenal PSG. PSG went to the Emirates Stadium to beat Arsenal by 1-0. A goal in the 4th minute by Ousmane Dembele. Informed Dembele. Sefas. Partey wasn't in the game. I remember in our preview, Nabila said something like, Partey not being in the game would be a key miss for Arsenal. And truly, it was really a key miss. How do you think Arsenal and PSG did to just beat Arsenal?
So, I look at this PSG team, okay? Especially under Luis Enrique. And you look at the midfield three they've assembled, in the like of Joao Neves, Vitinha, and then Fabian Ruiz. Brilliant, technically gifted players.
Yeah.
And then I look at the Arsenal setup, and that is where my colleague was right with the point of Partey missing the game. Yes, there was the absence of Thomas Partey, but they still had Mikel Merino, they still had Declan Rice, and they had Martin Odegaard.
Yeah. And
that is where the narrative would direct me to Martin Odegaard. Look, for me, man for man in that midfield, yes, in as much as this PSG team, the midfielders, they've played together for quite some time now, so the chemistry is there. You can't tell me this Arsenal midfield hasn't got quality. You can't tell me Martin Odegaard is not a technically gifted player to play such a high-profile game. But where was Martin Odegaard in the game?
I don't know for that game. I don't know whether he was playing as a number 8 or a number 10. Because he didn't really know the position he was playing.
Let's put the Partey debate aside. Did you see any forward pass from Martin Odegaard?
No.
Any pass that was breaking the lines?
No.
From the player who was supposed to be their skipper on the day, the player who was supposed to make things work. Forget about Declan Rice, forget about Mikel Merino. We've all seen what they can do. But ask yourself, how many times this season has Martin Odegaard influenced a big game for Arsenal?
Even, sorry for cutting you. Even in the game against PSG, we saw a Declan Rice who was playing as a number 6, going for it to give some passes.
Exactly.
In the second half, he gave one good pass to Trossard, which Donnarumma had to save.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that is what the Arsenal fans should be looking at. Thomas Partey is, of course, we all know his importance to this Arsenal team. But he has not been there and Arsenal has won every single game. You work with what you have. Mikel Arteta was supposed to work with what he had. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you know you were a bit suspect in midfield, for me, and that is why, I always say that the fact that away goal rule and all that has been taken out of the Champions League, it has taken a lot of shine from the game.
Yeah.
Arsenal, so far as you knew you were a big suspect, as far as defensive cover was in midfield, try to keep it tight as much as possible because the game was only the first leg. You have a second leg to play. It was very important you don't lose at home. And Arsenal, to me, have shot themselves in the foot by losing the first game at home.
Kwesi, what did Arsenal do wrong? That they weren't able to beat PSG at home.
Well, interesting. Let me start off with one thing that you see in the current iteration of tactics, or some people will say the current evolution of football tactics. Profiles play a very key role in certain games. And unfortunately this season, take it or leave it, Arsenal have made certain profiles in certain games, precisely against PSG. And that was one of the things that really went against them. Of course, Sefas mentions Partey's absence and Arsenal having profiles to do the job for them, and which I agree. However, this is what happened at Arsenal. Now, when you are playing against PSG team that are very aggressive in the man-to-man press against you, you have two options. Either you play through their press,
Yes.
or you go long.
Yeah.
One thing they missed was that without Partey, they cannot play through the press.
Through the press.
Again, Jorginho, who also would have done that job for him, was missing in the game because he's injured. So, and we always make the point about you don't know what you have until you miss. And Arsenal fans, I'm sure right now, they know that Partey is a very important player for them, whether they like it or yes. Do you understand? So Partey's absence prevented Arsenal from playing through the press of PSG because they were very relentless. They were always after Arsenal all the time. So one, they couldn't play through the press of PSG. Number two, they had to go long. Now, if you are going long, who are you going long to? They had 3 short players up there against PSG's Pacho, Marquinhos, and then Nuno Mendes.
Yeah.
So when you go long, you are going long to Martinelli, Trossard, and Saka, who aerially cannot compete with these other 2 players.
Very true.
3 players that I mentioned. So that was the pass that Mikel Arteta couldn't get it right. So, and it was not his fault. He just missed certain players. Now, if you are missing these players and you cannot play through the press, what do? You try to let your ball carriers be able to maneuver their way through the PSG press. Declan Rice is a good ball carrier, but in terms of build-up, he's not good.
Yeah.
He cannot progress the ball really well if there is no space in front of him.
No.
He doesn't have that press resistance that Thomas Partey have.
Yeah.
So then you should play your game in a way that your ball carriers, Martin Skelly, Declan Rice, are able to get the ball. And then, because PSG are not physical, so if they are carrying the ball and they are playing through, you cannot stop them because they use their physicality to play through you. And Arsenal didn't do much of that. You make the good point about the only time they had 2 big chances, it was when they were able to carry the ball through the midfield.
Yes.
Lewis Kelly
and Declan Rice.
Whenever they were able to carry the ball through the midfield, they were able to get those one-on-one chances. So for me, I think that, yes, of course, there is the point about Arteta not maximizing that aspect of the game enough. But look, it was also a game of missed chances. Both teams were just missing chances in here. When before we came, you made a point about if PSG are taking their chances, it would have been game over for us now.
But I just want to just say something. So how PSG scored their goal? One, I'll blame the midfielders of Arsenal because they didn't expect Dembele to play as Dembele wasn't even playing as a number 9. He was coming deep.
Yeah.
To just come and take the ball in the middle of the park,
go
forward, do what he has to do to give a pass. So you could see clearly that the distance between Declan Rice and Dembele was very about 10 meters, which is so bad because if you are playing and you are playing with a player that has this kind of space, it's no good. So Dembele drops back, just takes the ball, moves forward, wherever he is. So they didn't expect Dembele to play that role on Tuesday. And also, they also played a 3-4-3 in most of their cases. But when you got to the second half and they saw that Arsenal were coming in very hard in the second half, they have to just come back to a 4-back system for Hakimi to come back to where he was. Because Hakimi was moving a lot in front, and he got to a point he was even moving as a CM, which he didn't know what he was doing.
No, but that's actually a tactic from PSG because you see they're always aggressive in the man-to-man press, and it's very important because I think that the way Arsenal plays, they are sometimes very fluid. When I say fluid, what I'm saying is that yes, you see Odegaard starting as an attacking midfielder, but sometimes you see him drop into the midfield, even come all the way to the defense. Now, if you don't do that, they are going to have numerical advantages over you, overload over you wherever the game is, and that's what positional play is about. So for me, I think that yes, Hakimi sometimes he looked lost.
Yeah, he looked lost.
Because he's aggressive pressing Martinelli into the midfield and he's leaving space behind him.
Yes, that's
do you
true.
understand? So yes, I get you, but for me, I think that it was the downside of how PSG want to press. If you want to press man to man, you can sometimes follow your man all the way, even to the defensive line of your opponent, and then you lose your man, and then they come against you.
Okay, that's great. So let's go straight to Spain, and it was a 6-goal thriller. A super game.
Super game.
Lamine Yamal.
Nah, that game, Charlie.
I'm asking a question. Nabila, at 17 years, what were you doing?
17. Nah, at this time, I was preparing for my WAS.
Say fast, at 17, what were you doing?
over there.
Prepare about your
that guy didn't know ball
play.
Oh my God.
So, Charlie, let him ask what you found.
We had a 3-3 scoreline in the first leg of that game. And talk to me about Gerard Martin, Cephas. he's really the weak point of Barcelona now.
Absolutely, he is. But I think for me, okay, I wasn't entirely happy with the results.
Okay.
In as much as a lot of people have, lauded Lamine Yamal for his brilliance on the day, the fact that the game was end to end.
Yeah.
For me, I saw a lot of naivety,
Yes.
especially from Hansi Flick. For crying out loud, this is a Champions League semi-final tie. And what I saw looked more like a group stage game for me. You don't play this way in a Champions League semi-final tie when the stakes are extremely high. Unfortunately, you go behind, and of course, the highline issues came to bear. You fall behind as early as 30 seconds in the game. 2-0 before you could realize, but you were able to crawl back into the game. Kind courtesy, the brilliance of Yamal.
Yeah.
Look, go back to the days where Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets were dictating play for Barcelona in midfield. Sometimes they take decisions into their own hands and control the game. You need to manage the game. You don't keep throwing men forward. Look, at a point in time in the second half, did you realize that Inter saw Barca's naivety?
Yeah.
So in transition, when they caught Barca on the attack, certain moments you could see as many as four players trying to beat the offside trap.
Yes, true.
A lot of teams have tried it in La Liga this season. And sometimes I struggle to understand why they fail to do it expertly. When it happens like that, the run should come from deep. It's as simple as that. Then you break the line.
I think Stefan has just taken my thoughts about how to break Barca's highlight.
It's so high. The striker shouldn't be the one making the run. The run should come from midfield.
From midfield. Always.
And we could see clearly what was happening to Barca yesterday.
That's
it was
true.
naivety at the highest order. You don't do that. Look, how can you score 3 goals away from home and the tie is still in the balance?
Yeah.
Inter Milan played one of the best games I've seen them play in Europe this season.
Yeah.
You can't take anything away from them.
A team that has lost like 3 games before this
in the lead up to this game.
on a bounce.
And that is why you need to credit their coach.
Yeah.
I think tactically he was spot on.
That's good.
Very spot on. It's advantage Inter and Barca, if they should go to Italy and repeat such mistakes. Look, one good thing about this Barca team is the fact that they're able to rally from behind.
Yeah.
Look, you can't write them off. Let's make no mistake about that. You can't write them off. They are a very good team. They know when to turn on the afterburners and all that. But the stakes are extremely high. Do this in Italy, you'll be punished.
Just talk to me about the game.
I think Barca is the best team in the world this season. Of course, I spoke about how they have shown their vulnerability in conceding games in our preview. I spoke about that. And I was always expecting Barca to concede. But unfortunately, I thought that when Barca conceded, Inter could start shop against them. But what I like about Barca is that when it comes to the attacking phase of the game, they're able to play any type of game. If you want to play a mid block for them to lob the ball over you, they will do that. If you want them to have their normal tic-tac interplay, like the second goal they did again, they scored last night, they will do that. If you want to sit in a low block and invite their one-on-one players to dribble you, they will do that. And that is the advantage that Barca had. So I think that I like how Barca played. I don't think the tie is over. A lot of people think that when Barca go away, it's a done deal for Inter Milan. Look,
No, it's not over.
If Barca are able to play like how they played yesterday, and they are able just to make their defense a bit tighter, defend their set pieces better, do not become so naive in their highline like how they did, I think that Barca can be able to beat Inter Milan. Just a quick one. Okay. I think Inter did well, but I mentioned in the preview that Inter would tell Barca how to play, and that's how they play.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I think that Inter were rushing in their build-up in the first half because they are a team that are also very good, able to play through the press. Barca pressed them so high, they are very relentless and all that, but Inter were rushing. In the second half, you see that Barca got tired because they played 120 minutes against Real Madrid. And it showed as the game went on, and Inter began to play their game and all that. So it's a very good game, so much in the balance. I look forward to like the second leg games, but I think that, take it or leave it, Lamine Yamal. A friend is saying Lamine Yamal is Barca's best player. Forget the statistics. Yamal, their challenge. I can't remember too much.
Undoubtedly.
For Yamal, I just feel like he will have more success than Lionel Messi.
Charlie.
At this age
Yeah,
and
man,
what
like,
he's
yeah,
doing,
man, you
I just think he'll be better than Messi. He'll be far
I
better than
think
Messi.
it's too early
Far
to call
better.
the shot.
Oh no, but like at
Early to call
17,
the shot.
he's
And
doing
the things
this,
the boy is
he's
doing.
he'll be
Oh,
better
come
than
on,
Messi.
yes.
I'm telling you the truth. Messi is sitting somewhere, and I'm sure he's very happy about what the guy is doing. Yeah, he's very happy. So as Nabila and Sefa said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, subscribe. It's a wrap from us. Goodbye.